Ezekiel Elliott is he's a huge topic of conversation around here, and rightfully so. He gets the big money deal. He's a superstar name. He had the amazing coming out of the gates early on in his Cowboy tenure, and then now it's like, okay, you got the big money, but you went from, man, at one point you were averaging almost 110 yards per game as a running back, and now you're under 60 yards per game based on the way you were running the ball last year. And so he definitely is disrespected. There's no question about it. There's a lot of stuff that gets said about Zeke that's probably not very fair. But he did get paid, so he got the financial respect given to him by the Cowboys. And on this list of top 10 running backs, okay, he's not in the top 10. That's fine.
Yeah.
He gets mentioned as an honorable mention. He's the second honorable mention. So they don't have Zeke being a top 10 running back, but he's at least somewhere on this list garnering some type of respect when you start polling executives and coaches and scouts around the league. And here's what they write about him. They say, well, here's the NFC executive basically saying he's still a good player, but the burst that he once had just doesn't seem to be there. And I think that's something that we can all see. It's just he's a step slower than what he was. He could break a 50-yard run or take a screen pass, that could go 10 yards and make it 60 yards, and that's just not really his game anymore. And it's not that he's a bad player by any stretch. Like I said, he's on the honorable mention list. But to me, the guy who's getting the most disrespect when I look at all these lists that are going around, did you see the safety list?
Yeah, that is. But you know what? I think Cowboy fans, they have an appreciation for the safety that got left off that list.
Jayron Kearse.
Yeah.
Jayron Kearse is the most disrespected Cowboy right now.
It's amazing. But when you talk to people, and again, I need to reach out to Gang of Seven and find out, what they thought about him. Is like, well, what do you guys not like about this guy's game? Because he had a chance to go out and get money.
I know.
And didn't get money.
And that's part of the reason why I feel like the disrespect is much bigger for Jayron Kearse now.
I think there were a lot of scouts, me included, what were wrong about him coming out of college. And you got to admit that when you're wrong. But you look at this guy doesn't miss tackles. He plays hard. He's a leader. He communicates. I mean, it's like he's got size. He's everything you want in a safety. And I think that people still around the league, like you said, don't respect how good of a player he really is.
Mm-hmm. Well, and a lot of it is probably because it's been really in 5 years or whatever he's been in the league. Last year was the first year that he did anything of note. Other than that, like he was a special team guy that was a fringe roster guy. When the Cowboys brought him in last offseason, many people were wondering if he was even going to make the roster.
Yeah, this time we were talking about him as, you just kind of pass by him. There wasn't like you weren't putting him in the conversation of, well, who's going to make the team. He wasn't in those conversations. Mm-hmm. Now you're talking about him as who on defense can you not play without?
Yeah, and it's Micah, and then I think it might be Jayron.
Yeah, I mean, the role is not very long that you call to get to him because of what he does as that down linebacker, what he does with, like I mentioned, the communication with his teammates.
Well, he wears the green dot.
Yeah.
He's calling the defense like the Mike linebacker.
Just to have a guy out there that plays with that kind of physicality, that's that smart, aware, football intelligence, all those things, that's a big piece to have in your defense. Mm-hmm. And like I said, we went from being like, well, he's on the roster to, no, who can you not play without? And he's one of the guys on defense for sure.
For sure. And then you look at this roster right here, or you look at this list of NFL people basically putting together who they think are the best safeties in the sport. He's not in the top 10. Okay. And I think he is at this point. I think he's a top 10 safety. I mean, they still got Jamal Adams in the top 10 of this list. There's no way that should be the case. But he's not even mentioned as an honorable mention. Like Zeke's the second honorable mention. Hey, just missed the cut, almost a top 10 running back, still got some respect, Zeke. Jayron Kearse, it started in the offseason,
right,
where I thought it was going to be, I was nervous that a team was going to throw a massive contract at him and there's no way the Cowboys are going to match it. And it was kind of just dead silent on the Jayron Kearse front for the first week of free agency. What's going to happen? Is he coming back? What's the deal? Comes back 2 years, $10 million. So there wasn't much of a market for him. And then again, he's not on the honorable mentions. They got like 15 safeties listed here that they have more appreciation and respect for their games than Jayron Kearse. And so I think that we're talking about maybe whether it's disrespect or just overall underrated. You mentioned all the things about him where he's the communicator. When we're out there at practice with the safeties, he's absolutely the captain of that safety group.
Of the secondary. You watch him even walk out on the field and talk to the young corners.
With the corners, yeah.
And
he's got the size, the length, the athleticism, the versatility, the sure tackling. I mean, he was like for sure the surest tackler on the team.
Missed 3 the whole year.
One of the surest tacklers in the sport.
Yeah.
And he does the blitz and stuff where he's getting tackles for loss. And then the way he can, where is he going to be? Dan Quinn likes to do the 3 safety look. And Jayron Kearse is the reason why he's able to do that. Granted, you got to have a Malik Hooker and a Donovan Wilson who can play, but Jayron Kearse is the guy that you say, okay, he's my chess piece. He's a tight end eraser, and then is he going to be back? Is he going to be in the box? Does some of his best work in the box.
Yeah.
I think we all have to appreciate a guy.
I want to give, the pro personnel guys did a great job, but then again, this is where your coaches and your scouts are on the same page, because George Edwards had been with him before in Minnesota. So, when you're signing guys up, Will McClay does a really smart thing. He'll go and he'll talk to these coaches. Hey, have you ever been with this guy? Oh, yeah. And that's one of those things that will get players signed up very quickly. Or you'll have a coach say, listen, you don't want to bring this guy in. This is a bad guy. He's not very smart. He's not going to be a good fit for us.
Mm-hmm.
That's what, as a scout, you appreciate when coaches do get involved in the process.
901 says that Jayron Kearse needs to do it for multiple years in order to get the respect that we're sort of talking about. And I think that's a huge factor.
Well, last year he didn't start in week 1. He wasn't a starter, but he played in that game. And then against the Chargers, I believe in week 2, he was on the field, and the way he went, I mean, he wasn't even a starter. So last year was his first opportunity where somebody realized, well, man, how do you not get this big son of a gun on the field and let him play a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if he can do it for 2-3 years, and then maybe you really, not maybe, you hit on something there.
Yeah, then that's when the respect will come. But that's why he's underrated at the moment, because if he duplicates the season that he just had, if he has another one of those seasons, then I think it's a no-brainer that you're talking about one of the best safeties in the league. I think he's one of the cornerstones of this defense right now when you think about Micah Parsons, Tank Lawrence, Trayvon Diggs, and Jayron Kearse. Like, those are the 4 guys that really make this thing go outside of Dan Quinn. So, and the way he was able to defend the likes of Travis Kelce, Darren Waller, some of these stud tight ends that the Cowboys ran into last year, and he more than held his own against those guys. Some other nominees, Dalton Schultz being mentioned as being disrespected. We have a lot of people still think Zeke is the most disrespected. Dak, of course, getting a lot of nominees here on the truckwreck.com fan text in regards to how disrespected he is, which is totally fair. And that kind of comes with the territory of being the quarterback of the Cowboys. And then Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon Diggs is getting because it's like, hey, the dude had a monster year, but there's a lot of question marks of like, can he do it again? Is he just an interception guy, boom or bust kind of corner? But for me, I think it's Jayron Kearse, most disrespected right now on your Dallas Cowboys.